Academy Award winner Jennifer Lawrence stars in a new film, Causeway. The story focuses on a soldier who suffers a traumatic brain injury while deployed and shows her struggles adjusting to life back home. Film critics Chuck Kaplinski and Pam Powell talked to the director of the film. Take a look.
No, loved the film. Just really loved it. I was struck by how quiet the tone of this movie is, and I thought it was particularly moving how you focused on Lindsay's just these day-to-day struggles that she's dealing with. Could you talk a little bit about how you guys determined that that was the approach you were going to take?
Sure. Thank you so much for those kind words about the movie. What I can tell you is that from my first encounter with the original screenplay for this film, I perceived in it and responded to in it a degree of care, patience, what felt to me like a deeply felt lyricism, and a sensitivity. And that register from the outset appealed to me deeply. And then I would say that as I was getting to know these characters more intimately, as we developed that script, and once Jen and Brian signed on, I felt emboldened in that initial instinct to allow space, to sit with them, to be patient with them in the ways that I hope they may find patience with themselves, if that makes sense. And I think when you have actors of that caliber who are inhabiting the space with such fullness, such depth of inner life, that space hopefully feels worthwhile and worth sitting in with them.
With Jennifer Lawrence, she always goes completely into her characters and gives them her all, and obviously she does with this film as well. Can you talk a little bit about her preparation and approach to this film?
Sure. What I can start by telling you is that not long after Jen signed on to this project, I had attached to it initially, and then she and I had dinner, and she signed on that night, actually. We spent a couple of weeks in which I went to her apartment in the morning. We had breakfast, and we just read through the script very slowly, one page at a time. And at that point, we were not talking about performance. We were not talking about results, what it would look like. We were free associating. We were talking about the character, about the story, how it spoke to each of us personally. And I think immersing ourselves in the world of the project, and also, of course, getting to know each other and developing shared language, which would, I think serve us on set on the day. And then, so that was foundational for us, that just kind of immersion that we were sharing. And then I would acknowledge that in my own preparation, which would then include Jen, I had the incredible opportunity of consulting very extensively with U.S. Department of Medical Affairs, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs medical experts in the field of traumatic brain injury, so occupational therapists, physiotherapists, neurologists, and also talking at great length with veterans and service members, many of whom had incurred TBI, but also a more wide-ranging set who just taught me a great deal through their open, incredibly generous access to their lives, talking about their reasons for enlisting in the first place, their experiences while deployed, and the challenges that they encountered when returning home. Jen was a part of some of those conversations. When we were at Harbor Health, we worked with some OTs and PTs on her actual physical work. We were like opening things, walking around, dialing in her diagnosis, basically, and looking at how it would manifest in the body. I have no doubt that those conversations with veterans and service members were completely instrumental also for her in terms of developing her inner life. And then while we were on set, whenever we were doing any of that physical rehabilitation work, we always had OTs and PTs on set with us from the New Orleans VA, where I also spent a lot of time when I was down there. In fact, two of the nurses in the PT gym scenes, those are actual OTs from the New Orleans VA. So I would say all of that work was also foundational.
In speaking to the veterans, was there anything that they shared with you that was surprising, something that was just, you hadn't anticipated, or something that just provided a through line to what you guys were doing?
on how much time do you have? At the risk of sounding a little cheesy, it's hard to distill because those conversations were life-changing. You know, prior to making this film, I had one personal relationship with someone who had served. I have a friend who's a Marine. And my conversations with him have also been transformative. And I suspect that friendship may have created some foundation for my response to this screenplay. I mean, although I would also add that my reaction to the screenplay, I think, was operating on a very intimate and very personal terms that had to do with this character's inner life. But in terms of takeaways, I think for many members of the civilian population, people who serve, like any group, if you don't have access or personal relationships to individuals, can seem like a monolith. And I think there may be many very easy assumptions that people make about what sends people into service. I am, unsurprisingly, those encounters were eye-opening in terms of looking at the wide-ranging set of impulses that send people into service. And I think left me also, probably not surprisingly, with a very heightened awareness to the ongoing struggles that our veterans and service members face when re-entering life back home.